Steve, when I say popcorn, what's the first thing you think?
Movies.
Movies? Okay, if you want to go to the movie theater and get yourself some popcorn, go right ahead. But let me warn you, mister, it's just covered in salt and that disgusting liquid wannabe butter. It's not even butter! People of Earth, it's not real butter!
I can't believe it.
I can't believe it either. Luckily, there is an alternative. NatureBox.com. That's right, NatureBox.com has popcorn. They got white cheddar caramel popcorn. That can't be healthy. Afraid so. It's from NatureBox. How about jalapeno white cheddar popcorn? Ooh, spicy. Sriracha Pop Pops. Fun to say, more fun to eat. Parmesan garlic Pop Pops. Pop Pop. Sea salt Pop Pops. And coffee kettle popcorn for when you want to relax and read some good poetry. That's right. They don't use any artificial high fructose corn syrup garbage, no artificial colors, no artificial sweeteners, no artificial flavors, zero trans fats, and no partially hydrogenated oils. Blah! You know what that stuff is used in? Movie theater butter!
Mm-hmm.
So, what about you going over to naturebox.com? Because your satisfaction is guaranteed with a free sample of 5 tasty pre-selected snacks. Cancel anytime. You're just checking out for a month, but I guarantee you're gonna like what you get. Snack healthier, snack smarter at naturebox.com. Sign up today for a free trial. This week on the Pressure Cast, Dead Island 2 gets a do-over, Xbox One sales pick up, and millions say goodbye to Iwata. It's Monday, June 20th, 2015. Everything happening in the world of video games is here, now, on the Pressure Cast. Crash. Live from the 52nd floor of VideoGamesAreDumb.com Industries, it's the 87th episode of the Pressure Cast. VideoGamesAreDumb.com's video games. It's a podcast. It's the 87th episode.com. My name is Colin Tanner, and I am drinking 2 coffees today, as per usual. And across from me, the handsome devil himself, Steve Cuff.
You flatter me, Colin. You flatter me.
Flattery.
Yes,
yes,
get you nowhere.
Yeah, get you to the 52nd floor. Oh my goodness, we are. That was the best intro I think I've ever done on the show. Frankly,
I agree. Yeah,
it is just wonderful. Steve, how are you?
I'm doing great, man.
Are you really?
Pretty good, all things considered. I'm slowly
NPR.
dying because all things. I'm Robert Siegel.
I'm Michelle Norris.
my academic committee is trying to kill me, I think, but I have a big thesis proposal meeting on Tuesday, and then my life will get a lot easier.
I'm just, it's fast. I wonder if maybe this is part of like the psychological branch of the school, and they're just testing you, and they're like, watch him break.
Yeah, sometimes I wonder if like I'm just like an MK Ultra like experiment or something.
Oh, you mean like MDK on PlayStation,
Yeah,
MDK 2, when you got the parachute and the dog with the 6 arms?
That's exactly it.
Do you have 4 arms or 6 arms? You know what I'm talking about? It was like the dog, he had the machine guns, and then there was the old guy. We've obviously started this show to talk about it, Murder, Death, Kill, because a lot of people have been writing in about MDK, but we won't answer those emails. That's right, censorship. Instead, we're going to answer these 2 emails. That's right, we got 2 emails this week. And
oh my God.
You know what I thought about? I thought, well, what if I just make sure to read one this week and then read the next one next week because no one writes into the fucking show. And I went, no, we're going to read them both right now and just guilt trip the audience that is growing every single week and will not write us a dang email. Well, here's how you can reach us. First of all, go and write your little note to pressurecast@gmail.com. How do you spell pressurecast? It's the name of the show! Very simple. Or why don't you text or leave a voice message at 954-947-7377. That's 954-947-7377 or 954-94-PRESS if you're using a touch tone.
Yeah.
I really didn't think that one through when I made up that number, did I? Guess who has a touch tone? Do they actually show little letters when you're hitting your numbers
Yeah,
on the phone?
that's a thing.
Is that right?
Yeah, it's still okay. And hey, if you're listening out there and you think, you know what, maybe I should send the Pressure Cast an email. I just want you to know, Colin really loves erotic fan fiction. So send him all of your erotic Sonic the Hedgehog fan fiction. He really wants to read it.
You want to know what Yoshi does with that tongue.
He knows, he knows how many penises an echidna has. So tell him about all that crazy shit that Knuckles is doing with Rouge the Bat.
Let me tell you what, those aren't Knuckles. It's very disturbing how they do all this. Okay. We got our first email from Blake. That's right, a.k.a. The Requiem. The Requiem95 on Twitter. Is that right, Blake? I hope I got that right. I think I keep screwing it up. Here's what he had to say. Hey, Colin. And I assume he also meant, and Steve. We're going to assume, Blake, that you wouldn't just say, hey, Colin now, would you?
Yeah, dick.
Something tells me that Steve's been on the show maybe, I don't know, 30 times in a row. So Blake, I'm just going to correct you there. Blake's a good guy. Really good guy, actually. Hey, Colin. Shenmue 3! Great show last week. Just a couple of notes on the insufferable Captain Know-It-All Correction Department. The troll superhero show was called Stone Protectors.
Okay, that's good. I was wondering.
Yeah, because they were trolls and they get stones and they become like really big.
Wait, as in they get rocks? They don't get like stoned. They get...
Yeah, they rock it. They smoke rocks. He also said there is an iPad/iPhone version of Choo Choo Rocket. While the great multiplayer experience is gone, the iPad is easily my favorite way to play the puzzle mode in the game, and the touchscreen works amazingly well. I assume it was because that was almost like the watchmaker theory, where you would just press the button and observe as everything went down, right?
Yeah, and I could see that too, because it's such a hectic game that I think like tapping on a screen would make more sense. Although you kind of lose something if you're not playing against a friend in the same living room or across your Dreamcast modem and screaming at the TV.
Yeah, just a simpler time. You know what?
Simpler times when I had my 56K Dreamcast modem.
Dude, I always wanted to get that broadband adapter, and I know they're really expensive now because some people are keeping SegaNet alive.
Oh yeah, you can still play like Phantasy Star Online.
I wonder if you can use DCEMU or any of the other emulators to actually play online. I assume you can, but it might be peer-to-peer.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if anyone's got a dedicated server going on.
We'll have to look into it. Start playing Phantasy Star Online again.
I shouldn't, because I will never do anything again. I'm dead serious. That game put me down. That was the very first game where I was like, I need to stop playing. I'm actually worried about where my life is going. Like, days went by, the sun went down, the moon went up, Anyway, he also says, on to the regular email stuff. It really sucks we lost Satoru Iwata this week. It seems sudden. Although in retrospect, it almost shouldn't have been. I remember when Gunpei Yokoi died so suddenly. I thought about how young the industry was back then and how fortunate we were to have so many game creators with us. After losing Ralph Baer and Satoru Iwata in this, what seems like a short succession, same year, I dread the day we start losing industry founding visionaries as a regular occurrence. R.I.P. Iwata-san. I will play Kirby's Adventure again soon with a small tear in my eye, but a big smile on my face. Well, he left it on a really positive note. No, he didn't. He wrote this. On another note, can I nominate an Idiot of the Week? How about the D-bag who pulled out of the $15,000 tier of the Shenmue 3 Kickstarter in the closing minutes?
Ooh!
Making sure that nobody got to snag the original Ryu jacket. What a tool. Oh, by the way, your best out-of-context quote from last week's show, Yorby looks like a top 10 best game of the year. Yep, set in stone, Colin. In stone. Shenmue 3, The Requiem. I have to say, even as shitty as that is, it is such a common occurrence he couldn't be the Idiot of the Week. It seems like every goddamn Kickstarter has these insufferable idiots that just feel like, I'll just give you a lot of money. No, I'm not. And
yeah.
It's not so, and I think he phrased this correctly when he said, it wasn't like, poor you, Suzuki, for not getting that $15,000. He's like, hey, that jacket was really cool, but to be fair, Ryu is on a grand adventure, and he's going to need that jacket, buddy, so we got to let him hang tight to it. Yeah, I'm treating the listeners like they're 4-year-olds. When it's
maybe, I mean, maybe they can like do like a charity auction or something like that, or they can find a way to do something.
We shall see. I don't know. I mean, I think that's really shitty. I would never want to wear that jacket, though. I'd want it hanging in my room and just worshiping it. I'd bow to it 3 times a day.
Just make a shrine with like candles and stuff.
Oh, my God.
I think he makes a good point about how, it's kind of weird to start seeing some of these figures passing away because video games are an incredibly young medium. So we're just kind of like not used to these things, like really important founding fathers of video games just, passing away. And it's in the next decade, it's going to be a more common thing.
I mean, it seems like it, that it, I think there's a misconception here because there are lots of people involved in the early days of video games that have died.
Mm-hmm.
And they were the guys that helped develop some sort of wire that was going to connect to this giant IBM monolith. And we just don't know about them because it's not, we're ushering in the age of popular games. We're starting to see when popular games die, but the industry founders are dead. And they've been, I doubt there's very many left of them, but I do understand what you mean. Like the day Miyamoto dies, whew, that'll be interesting,
Yeah.
I mean,
So yeah, it's a downer, man. It's a downer.
Yeah, we're gonna talk more about Iwata in a bit, which sucks because you listened to it last week. It's whatever. We'll get into it. Let's get on to the second email. The Goose Man. Goose. Well, he just likes to be called Goose, but I like
From Top Gun.
I guess. There's a reason he's called Goose, but I'm not going to say what it is because come on, let's protect this man's identity. But by the way, I'm going to keep calling him Goose Man because I love the show Duckman and I like the idea of having Goose Man.
What's Gooseman have to say here?
He says, "What the hell are you staring at?" No, he doesn't say that. That's what Duckman said on USA Up All Night. Hosted by Penn Jillette. Anyway, hey Colin and Steve, I assume you say. Come on, guys. Come on. Great job on the show. Except when you do the creepy voice thing when you want to talk about money. Please stop that. Thank you in advance.
Did he really say that?
One of the other voices on your show, I think he's talking about Justin here, unless some Justin was on the show, claimed to be me when you read my last letter. I assure you he is not me. I am me. Case closed. Have you reached the subscriber goal yet? You haven't spoken of it in so long on the show. Either you made it or you gave up. Also, did you choose your website colors neon pink and green based off those Pineapple Brand Sticker Club and activity books from back in the 80s? I did not. I just decided those colors looked really cool together.
It's a nice tie-in, though.
Yeah, in hindsight, I discovered that it looks a lot like a package of watermelon gum. And I was like, oh, okay. Recently, you claimed the Honey Nut Cheerio bee was going to ruin Minecraft. These are all true quotes. He's saying this is what the show is. I think he is a talented guy and will do just fine. Also, I don't think your PS4 Toro rant was as cool as your Yorby rant. I have been suffering by playing the first Risen RPG. It's the first video game I've ever played that killed me during the loading screen. Also, I earned 20-point achievement called Idiot for falling to my death 3 times. Huzzah! Anyways, keep up the good work while I flog myself with the first Risen game and bring more guests on the show. Justin's going to be on the show soon.
He's back. The prodigal son is returning from California.
Well, and he's the guy that Brett's you, Steve. He brought you on the show.
He did.
Yeah,
he did.
Which I was very skeptical of. I will not lie.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, wait, this guy knows what he's talking about.
Justin made it seem really sketchy, too. I was
I know!
Nervous. Something about him, I mean, it's just the way Justin is, but he's just like, hey, my buddy Colin, he's got this podcast, and it's about video games, and we're gonna get you on the podcast. I'm like, okay. He's like, yeah, I'm gonna pick you up real early on Sunday morning. I'm like, all right. What, are you guys gonna like drive me out to the Milwaukee River and kill me? What is going on?
The thing about Justin is he always makes it sound like he's doing you the favor, but it always sounds sketchy as fuck.
Yeah, it's weird. He's like a goofy mob boss. Yeah, like he's doing you a favor, but also he might kill you.
It's very frightening. But he apparently says he wants to be on the show. We'll see. We'll see, Justin. If you're listening to this episode, we will see how many episodes you make before you're like, I don't give a shit about video games. But he loves video games. He just loves JRPGs from like the 16-bit era. Like he's obsessed with them. Like he will sit and play. I think he's played them all. Like on the podcast, we went through it and he played all of them to completion. And he doesn't use Game Genie or any of that crap. He doesn't even really use emulators. He just sits there and plays all of these JRPGs into dimensions. It's maddening. As for why was the Toro rant not as good as the Yorby rant, Yorby was attempting to do something and did it so poorly Like the foundation was there and everything didn't work. You know, it's like seeing a children's drawing where, I don't know, they just smushed ketchup all over it. Where it's like, no, not even close. Whereas Toru, they didn't fill in anything.
No, it was just a garbage dump for $40 or whatever it was on the PlayStation Network.
It's absolute garbage. It couldn't be as good. I'm sorry. I mean, and you're right. I mean, call me out. You're right. It wasn't as good. I'll admit it. That Yorby rant, I was literally losing my fucking mind.
I like bad games. Yeah, I like bad games better when I'm surprised at how inept they are. Like, I remember the first time I played Too Human. And
which it's bad but inspired bad.
Yeah,
you know?
it's just like, holy shit, you guys are dumb. Why did this happen? Like, there's so many interesting things that could have gone on in that game that just don't, and so many like design choices where you're just like, I wish I could crawl inside of your head and just think the way you thought for 1 second so I could figure out how you made this game.
That's I don't know, man. That sounds like that fucking movie where they go into the serial killer's brain. What is that movie?
Oh, Jesus, what is that?
The Cell?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah, I feel like The Cell.
Yeah, that movie's pretty good. It's not great, but visually, it's pretty amazing. The
So
storyline.
we just need a sequel to that movie where I crawl inside the Knights or Silicon Knights or whatever. Yeah.
What is his name? I
don't know.
remember. Because he went on NeoGAF.
Yeah, he's kind of a weenie. Like, he was just like, nobody liked my X-Men game because it was too cool. And everybody's just like, we don't like cool stuff. It's like, no, it fucking blows, man.
He's just in the wrong industry. I swear to God, if this guy made music or movies, he'd be pretty celebrated. Because when you hear him talk, he's stunning in how intelligent he speaks and about like culture. Like, he's talking about the way that culture is going to be growing in the near future, and he's talking like 2008, and he's predicting things that are happening right now, and he's so dead on. It's like, dude, why don't you use that for video games instead of just interviews? You know, I don't know. Eternal Darkness, fucking great game though.
Yeah, really good.
You know, and obviously Blood Omen, the original one, pretty damn good game.
Mm-hmm.
You know, okay.
All right.
Well, okay, Goose, Blake, thank you for writing in. Everyone, remember, you're listening to this. You're listening right now. I know you are. You're probably listening on your phone, aren't you? Well, I'll tell you what. Just click on that little bone icon if you're too young to know what a phone symbol looks like, and hit 954-947-7377. Leave a voicemail or text message and be heard on the air, or leave a comment if you're watching on YouTube. Leave a comment in the YouTube below and say, hey, read this on the air. You gotta leave me a note that says you want this to be read on the air. I'm not gonna assume. Someone left a note and I was like, I think this guy was just talking about Iwata. And then it's like, I don't know if he really wants to be referred on the podcast. He was not a subscriber. Oh, by the way, I totally reached that. I blew away those subscribers. Go to youtube.com/video games are dumb. See for yourself. It's there. Told you. Promised. Okay. Woo! All right, let's have some fun.
Oh, God.
It's time for the earth-shattering stories of the week. Satoru Iwata is dead. He has been dead for a week. It is sad news. It is such sad news. And there's just no other way to say it. At this point, like, I've literally just decided to be like, yeah, that man is completely dead. He is dead. He's in the ground. His wife had a husband. He is gone, and we are all mourning, and that sucks. You know, it's like I've gotten to the point, and it sounds ridiculous to say, but I've gotten to the point of acceptance because I can't even stress how shocked I was when this happened.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that's been undermined in a lot of these stories that have come out since his death, where it's like, no, yeah, we can all look back in hindsight and be like, oh, yeah, the bile duct growth, which sounds horrifying when you actually read about it.
Yeah, no, that's something you don't want to Google. It's just like, oh, my God.
Yeah, and so I just want to reiterate, this is shocking news. We didn't know this was going to happen, and I'm really sad about it, but honestly, I'm just trying not to be down. Like, I got to the point where I'm like, this isn't healthy to be this sad about someone I didn't know.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I've got to back away, especially when I saw, like, the pictures of all of the Nintendo World Store of just a picture of him, people signing notes, and just this happy photo of him being like, fucking hell, man, you know?
Yeah, it's very depressing, and, well, I think I said it last week on the show, too. It's like, it's a big jarring shock for just like creativity and corporate culture in general.
Yeah,
which is why it's just ugh.
You know what? Only Iwata could have. I think it really put in perspective how much he did with that company. Whereas I feel like a lot of people are getting to the point of hyperbole, saying like he is the brains behind the Wii. It's like, well, no. They have lots of very smart, talented people at Nintendo. But he was the brave enough person to say, you know what? What if we just completely ignore what everyone else is doing? Hey, if it fails, well, we guess we'll have all that sweet GameCube money. Like the reason Nintendo has a war chest and can have a failure like the Wii U is because of the Wii. And, the reason that the GameCube could be such a failure is because of all that Game Boy money. They were very, very lucky. Oh, and DS money. Holy crap. So he's a genius. And you know what sucks about this the most? I loved making fun of him. I loved making fun of Iwata. And I'm not going to bullshit. I'm not going to lie. I had this. He was so kind that it was fun to make fun of him because it was never mean. You don't want to make fun of him and be mean, but like he was such a nice guy that it took me a while to wrap my head around it, but it kind of reminded me of being an adolescent again in high school, when you make fun of all the teachers, regardless of whether or not they're the cool teacher or not.
Yeah.
And he was the cool teacher.
Or even when you're with your friends and you're just like giving your friends shit. Like,
yeah,
it's just that it's just so easy to rib him because he's a nice guy. I just want to give him a hug.
Yeah, but at the same time, it's like, you dork, I'm going to make fun of you. But like, there was this sketch that I was supposed to record and it never came to fruition. And it was after he announced that he was taking a 50% pay cut. I was waiting for the 6 months to pass and I was going to do a sketch called How I Spent My Pay Cut, where it was all about him having all this luxury items and how he had to get rid of them. And he had like a hovercopter that he took to work every day. So he's actually never been on the first floor of Nintendo. So he's not sure how to get to work. And you just hear him going from different places. He walks into bars and he's like, is this Nintendo? And it was going to be fun. But that joke was that he's so nice and polite still, and now I'll never get to do that because he's dead. And if you find this all disrespectful, sorry. It sucks. It sucks. But we all need to collectively get over this because shit, I've seen internet forums and Twitter and it is a sad place. And frankly, Iwata was not about sadness. That being said, let's talk about some sad fucking news.
Oh, no.
It rained on the day of his funeral. There was a 2-day funeral service, and it rained all the way through. And despite that, over 4,000 people, umbrellas in hand, waited to pay respects. Ugh. Those that decided to stop by include Shigeru Miyamoto, Yuki Nuji Naka, the former head of Sonic Team, as well as Reggie Fils-Aimé, of course, and Bill Trinan, who couldn't go to the EVO tournament, which was because of this. It's really sad news, and, it sounds like everyone was so respectful, and Nintendo has said, like, just thanks for all the comments, guys. Like, it really, it's, man, and I had to write an article. I had a whole different article ready to go for Tuesday, and all Monday I just had to spend and just writing it. That's why I really got bummed out, I think, is because I had to learn every fucking detail about this guy's life and discovered not only was he one of the nicest guys ever, because people just say, oh, he was really, really nice. This guy was incredibly smart. He was an incredibly smart programmer and an incredibly smart businessman. And when I started researching, it's like, that's weird. So he came over in 2002, and then a year later, they announced the Capcom 5. He came over in 2002, and that's when Namco decided to start releasing exclusive RPGs on the GameCube. Like, wait a minute. This guy was involved in a lot more than we ever gave him credit for. Like, the Twin Snakes thing. Like, wait a minute. So... I don't know.
Oh.
You got thoughts on this? What do you want?
No, it's such a bummer. I don't know. It's such a bummer. I pretty much said everything I need to say last week, and it's just something you gotta, I don't know, gotta move past it, and Nintendo will move forward, and I'm interested to see what direction they go, but I just hope they continue to be, as weird and quirky and Nintendo-y as they have been since he took over.
And to be frank, he allowed Nintendo to be weird. Like, beforehand, they were very rigidly controlled. Mario won't do this, Mario won't do that. And this was the guy who literally went to Nintendo and said, hey, can we have Mario and Link punch each other? And they're like, no. He's like, no, it'll be fun. Like, no, it'll be real fun. Okay, fine. You're stupid. And then it became a huge success.
Yeah.
He actually single-handedly programmed the prototype for Super Smash Brothers.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's impressive.
Back when it was Dragon King, the fighting game.
I guess the one thing that I want to say is there's...
Wait, I forgot to mention, he was also the president of HAL at the time, and so he had to do that all on his weekends. So he spent all his free time creating the prototype.
Just make it Smash Brothers.
While being the president of the company. I'm sorry, what were you saying?
So the one thing I want to say is there's like a petition going around right now to get an Iwata amiibo made. and it's got a ton of signatures. So I really hope that goes through and you can play as Iwata in games. Like if they brought, what if they brought like Super Time Force or something to the Wii U, and then you can play as him as DLC.
I don't know, man. It's morbid now. It's
Well, I don't know.
like-
I mean, wouldn't you be memorializing him because that's like what he loved? And if you like put him into a game, wouldn't that be cool?
he's been in a lot of games.
Yeah. Or if you made him a Smash Brothers DLC character.
I don't know. You're making me uncomfortable. Like, I mean, I whatever makes the fans happy.
Mm.
Personally, I would find that to be a bit weird. You know, he was in WarioWare Smooth Moves. He was the guy behind the counter that's selling the games during the Eightfold thing, and he was also in Brain Age. You just saw his head floating around. Really cool guy. But let's really depress the hell out of the audience here.
Oh, Jesus, you're killing me, Colin.
Shigesato Itoi, of course, the director of Earthbound. He has a blog called Today's Darling, and he decided to write a note to his dearly departed friend that he has known for nearly 40 years.
I'm sure this will be really uplifting.
Oh, yes. I'm turning into Paul Bear slowly.
Oh, yes.
That was really good. That was
you.
actually really good. So here we go. Here's what he wrote, and I found it to be the most depressing thing I've ever read. And I was like, you know what? Let's just ruin the show by starting this off here. But hey, I mean, like, I want to give the man respect, you know? So here we go. When I'm parting with a friend, regardless of the circumstances, I find it best to just say, see you later. We'll meet again. After all, we're friends. That's right. Nothing unusual about it. I'll see you later. You went on a trip far, far away. Even though it was planned for many years from now, you wore your best outfit and said, sorry for the short notice, though you didn't say it out loud. You always put yourself last. After you'd finished helping everyone else, you were so generous as a friend, and that this trip might be your very first selfish act. I still can't grasp what happened. It feels like I could still get a light-hearted email asking me out to a lunch at any moment. After you'd made sure lunch wouldn't disrupt my schedule, of course. You can invite me out whenever you want. I'll invite you too. So for now, let's plan on meeting again. You can call me up whenever you like, and I'll give you a call too. I still have a lot to talk to you about, and if I come up with any particularly good ideas, I'll let you know. So let's meet again. No, I suppose we're already meeting. Right here, right now.
Jesus Christ, Colin.
I know, but it's such a good, it's so beautiful. Like, I thought that was so beautiful the way that he wrote that, where he just is like, oh man, you know, it's like, you've never been selfish before, but look, this is such a like, it's such an honest thing saying like, that was very selfish of you of dying. Well, all right, but I'll talk to you later. Like, it's such a beautiful email.
Yeah, that's really nice.
I know. So Satoru Iwata, you know, I don't know, man. It's the biggest story of the year. It's the most depressing story of the year. It really puts everything in perspective when we're talking about, well, you're going to hear the rest of the show where none of this even comes close to the significance of a visionary programmer, president passing away at a horrifyingly young age. Man, it sucks. I'm sorry. But that's it, everybody. Move on.
Do we have a happy news story now?
Batman Arkham Knight.
That is not a happy news story.
Let's talk about
Let's go from sadness to anger.
Well, we've all learned about... No, I was going to make a joke about how the Batman died, but we are not going to do that joke here. Okay, Batman Arkham Knight on the PC. Guess what? Didn't work out too hot unless you had a real beefy PC. Like
Even then, it still didn't work.
Didn't work great. Well, apparently, Warner Brothers has announced an interim patch that will be released in August. According to Warner Brothers, Rocksteady and our partners are targeting an interim patch update for existing players to be released in August. We would like to thank you for your continued patience and invaluable feedback. We are continuing to monitor and listen for any additional issues and are driven towards a full update for everyone as quickly as possible. Let's hope they're not taking the Batmobile, because that does, it drives like shit. There was a report that went out recently that said, that's probably not going to return to sale on Steam or PC until fall. Now, this was never proven, but this is what the report said. And so far, a lot of these reports are sounding more authentic. Is this how the Batman died? Because it sounds like it.
Oof. Yeah, I don't see... I mean, at this point, why would you even bother? Like, I mean, if you're a diehard Batman guy, wouldn't you have gone out and got it for a console at this point?
Are you talking about when the comic book where John McClane and Bruce Wayne meet up in the tower, and this is how good would that be?
That I would watch a diehard cross Batman.
Yeah, Batman's like, I don't kill, but he does, and they could try and outgravel each other.
Yeah, so I don't know. I just don't see it doing well unless you're in a position like, okay, so let's say you really want to play this game, and you're in a position like I am where you don't own a PS4 or an Xbox One, then maybe then you pick it up in the fall or something. But even then, I don't know if I'm ever going to play this game, or if I do, I'll wait until a Steam sale where I can get it for $10.
Yeah.
So I think it's going to be a total flop on PC. There's no way you can recover from something like this. And they shot themselves in the foot. If they would have delayed the game just a month or something to iron out these issues, it would have been fine.
Yeah, and then, I mean, people are going to complain no matter what. That's what they don't understand. People are going to complain when the game doesn't work. People are going to complain when the game is late.
Mm-hmm. I'd rather have a game late than a game just completely broken.
Like Miyamoto once said, a delayed game takes a little bit longer, but a bad game is a bad game forever.
Mm-hmm. It is.
Batman forever.
Very true. Batman forever.
Speaking of which, we were talking about the amazing actor John McClane, I believe is his name. He was in Moonlighting, and
Bruno the Kid.
Yeah, that's what I wanted to talk about.
You want to talk about Bruno the Kid?
Have you ever seen some of those cartoons?
Yeah.
Holy, okay. In case you don't understand, Bruce Willis, first of all, made a lot of money and decided, I want to do blues music poorly.
Renaissance man.
Which he actually did blues music in a wine cooler commercial before he became a famous actor. I think it was for B&J's or whatever it's called.
Bartles and James?
Yeah. Look it up. It's on 80s Commercial Vault on YouTube. But what is up with that Bruno the Kid cartoon? It's so fucking... He decided that not only was he going to be a blues guy, he was going to make an animated series about his blues persona growing up as a child. It's so weird.
It's almost like Life with Louie-esque, except bluesy and just horribly shitty on every level.
For crying out loud. Life with Louie, though, I thought was actually a pretty good show.
Yeah, Life with Louie is a fun cartoon.
There's that episode where his grandma dies, and so he literally goes, and this is where the show totally broke down. He goes and visits different religions to figure out where grandma went to the afterlife, and he's going to Buddhist temples. It's like, yeah, Wisconsin, 1950s. Yeah, all those Buddhist temples everywhere. I mean, come on. Get your head out of your ass. Anyway, so Batman's not working on the PC, and neither is Life with Louie. Of course, he was blackmailed for those things while he was hosting Family Feud.
Oh, the Family Feud curse, man.
Yeah, seriously.
Terrible things happen to Family Feud.
The worst thing that's happened to Family Feud, though, is obviously Steve Harvey.
Yeah, exactly. So that's where the curse kind of comes back around on itself.
Yeah.
And then now the show is cursed with Steve Harvey.
Yeah. Holy crap. Hey, I've been married 5 times. Let me give you marriage advice. I guess practice makes perfect, huh? No, I mean, no offense if you've been divorced multiple times. I'm not judging anybody, but Jesus Christ, Steve Harvey. You should hear him talk about atheists. That's an amazing conversation. He goes, why don't I just kill you then? It's like, what are you talking about? All right, that's going to do it for the earth-shattering stories of the week. Okay, so obviously we've got the Chart Park. We've got Pocket Talk. We've got the Idiot of the Week, and we have This Week in History. But the pressure points are no more. I hate the pressure points. It didn't make any sense. There was nothing to it.
That's the next earth-shattering story of the week.
Yeah,
fuck the pressure points.
Fuck the pressure points. You want pressure points? Write in an email, and I will give you 10 pressure points.
With the subject headline, I want my pressure points.
Yeah, I want my pressure points. It's like I want my MTV. Yeah.
That's what I was going for.
Yeah, this is all topical.
We're really dating ourselves right now, too.
Man, I wish I could date myself. All right. Now I've stripped away a lot of the boring stories that have no purpose because we have the brand new segment that's going to start off this show. Toot toot! It's the hype train. Chugga 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 chugga. This is, of course, fueled by pre-release buzz, so feel the vibrations as we head towards Video Game Satisfaction Station. It's the hype train. Toot toot! We're going to see how long this segment lasts.
God.
The first story, of course, is Oculus Rift. Palmer Luckey has said, don't sweat it. We're gonna have that platform where you can download Oculus Rift games, but we ain't gonna add no limitations to you developers. Here's what he had to say. You don't need any kind of approval to make games for the Rift, and you can distribute those games wherever you want without paying us a penny. we are not trying to lock down the Oculus ecosystem to our own hardware either. We already support Samsung Gear VR headset in addition to our own hardware. That's awesome.
Mm-hmm. Well, the only thing that I'm a little concerned with here is if there's zero curation, a la Steam now, where they just sort of like open the floodgates.
Unity.
Yeah, then you're just gonna have a lot of horrible diarrhea Unity asset flip games with VR support. And that's not a good thing.
Not a good thing,
No.
but in
I mean,
some
people
ways,
are always just like, oh no, it'll be better because then, you can have all these games and let the marketplace decide. Except, yeah, if you've got like 3 delicious chocolate cakes,
okay,
and then you just have 9,000 people walk in and take a shit on the floor, like, how are you going to get to the cakes if everything is covered in shit?
we gotta talk about analogies for a while. Steve. I don't know. Okay, I guess I know where you're coming from now.
because you have to swim through the sea of poo to try and find the cake. And who knows if you're going to find cake?
Yeah.
I mean, it could just be poo. You think it's cake, but then you take a bite, it's not cake.
I told you that story in confidence. But I mean,
You know what I'm saying, though? Like,
no, this is
things get lost.
amazing. This is amazing because whenever there's new technology, I want to see shit. Literally, I want to see the worst shit possible, and I want to see like a game that flings you 4,000 miles per hour and makes you vomit with your headset on. I want that to be out there because like this is basically 1914, and they're just gonna drop a Ferrari right there and be like, hey, it was easy, we could get the farthest, huh? This is exciting.
Well, geez, Colin. I mean, look at how well the last crowdfunded open platform went. Ooh, yeah.
Oh no! Oh no! Moving on to the next story. Toot toot. We're gonna see how long that lasts.
Can I buy you a train whistle off of like Amazon? And
I
give
have
it
a
to
train
you?
whistle.
You have a train whistle?
Yeah.
I really want you to bring in a train.
I'll bring the
whistle.
train whistle. Oh God! All right, awesome.
Where this is going?
Toot toot! Uncharted Collection, which of course contains all 3 Uncharted games. What? There was a Vita game? No, I didn't hear about that. Sorry. All 3 PlayStation 3 Uncharted games onto the PlayStation 4. We've got some good news for you people. It's going to be 60 frames a second. It's going to have better texture and character models and lighting. No, there won't be multiplayer, but there's going to be a brand new difficulty mode. Also, it appears that motion controls might not necessarily be carried over. There were some motion controls in the very first Uncharted game. It sounds like they might be optional now, which is good news. Because, holy crap, 6-axis. Like, I would love to play Killzone 2 with my DualShock 4, but no, I gotta turn a wheel by holding R1 and turning the controller.
Yep.
Oh, Sony. But anyway, there's gonna be a playable demo at some point this summer, but you can play the full experience October 7th. Get excited for Uncharted. Toot toot! Deep Silver has officially dropped Jaeger from developing Dead Island 2.
I'm so angry about this.
Jaeger, of course, is a delicious beverage that I recommend to all teenagers who like black licorice. That's. Why do you care so much about Jaeger, brah?
Let me tell you, bro. Nobody. You ever mix that shit with Red Bull?
Yeah, that's just crazy. Oh God.
No, actually, wait. Here, real quick, let's take a quick aside into the liquor park. That's our new
Toot toot.
segment. We're stopping at the liquor station. No, okay. Jaeger the drink is different from Jaeger the development studio. One's with a Y, one's with a J. But
what
hey,
is a Meister?
if you don't like Jägermeister because it's for douchebags and it just tastes like gross licorice stuff, there's actually a liqueur. It's called Fernet, and it's delicious. It's
Really?
Jaeger for adults. So yeah, if you're like, I don't know, Jaeger's kind of douchey and too sweet, try
Yeah.
Fernet. It's very good.
Too sweet.
Yeah, that's exactly it. We just did the Bullet Club.
Oh yeah.
But Jaeger, the development studio, so they made Spec Ops: The Line, which super underrated game, so good. You need to play it.
I don't know about underrated. I'll say underplayed.
Yeah,
Because
underplayed.
It got great reviews.
I don't know. It got some people gave it like 10 out of 10, but
Right.
it also got like a lot of like 5 out of 10s. Like you either got it and loved it, or you just didn't like it. It was kind of divisive, I'd say.
It basically turns the player into a test subject, and you have to be willing to go through that. And you might be frustrated. You might hate the game when you stop playing it, and it might take you a few weeks and be like, oh.
Well, and the other great thing about it too is there's been a bunch of great like articles and criticism written about it.
Who wrote an article? No, I'm kidding. I think Tumblr is 35% Spec Ops: The Line articles. Like,
Well, there's a great book, and you can buy it. I think anywhere you can get an ebook, you can get this. Because I don't think it ever got a physical release. But it's
ebook, I love it.
Ebook, or a Kindle, whatchamacallit. Anyways,
Yeah.
it's called Killing is Harmless. It's by Brendan Keogh. I think that's how you say his name.
Yeah,
and he's written for Polygon and Unwinnable and a couple other places. But
I
it's
love
so
Unwinnable.
good. It's like $5, and it's amazing. It's a full-length book, and it's all about Spec Ops: The Line. So anyways, Jaeger, awesome. Like, when you hear them talk in interviews, you're like, holy shit, you guys are amazing.
Right.
Please make all the games. And they don't get to make all the games.
They don't get to make Dead Island 2 anymore,
Which looked pretty cool. It didn't look like
Well-
Spec Ops. It looked like something. It looked fun.
I thought, well, personally, whatever we saw that leaked a few months ago, I thought looked really bad.
Oh, I didn't see that. I saw, like,
The trailer?
yeah, the
with
trailer
guy
from a while
running.
ago. Yeah.
Yeah, that was, I mean, like, I mean, Dead Island has a notorious history of creating trailers that really don't have anything to do with the game.
Yeah.
Little girls.
I think, but with Dead Island, it's easy to make that series better. Like, Dead Island, because it
They
has...
called it Dying Light, you know? That's
yeah,
'cause
that
Techland
basically
was like,
Dying Light is just like, hey, what if Dead Island didn't suck so much?
Worth noting out, yes, Dying Light was developed by Techland, who made the very first Dead Island. We should preface that.
Yeah.
Deep Silver are the people that published that game, and they have since hired Jaeger, and now they've dismissed them. So there's a bit of history there.
Oh, it's not even that hard. All you have to do to make Dead Island fun: 1, make it silly and not serious. 2, stop making me do so many goddamn fetch quests.
That's true.
And that's it.
Well, here's the quote from Jaeger, here's the quote from Deep Silver, which is amazing. With Dead Island 2, Deep Silver has always been dedicated to delivering the sequel that Dead Island fans deserve. After careful consideration, today we announce the decision to part ways with the developer Jaeger. We will continue working towards bringing our vision of Dead Island 2 to life, and we will further share information at a later stage. Our team is made of the best creative minds and technical specialists who all share a common identity. The team worked with enthusiasm to take Dead Island to a new level of quality. That's according to Timo Ullman from Jaeger, the second part, our team part. However, Jaeger and Deep Silver's respective visions of the project fell out of alignment, which led to the decision that has been made. So it sounds like Deep Silver's like, what the fuck are you doing? And keep in mind, these are the guys that made perhaps the first anti-war game, you know, talking about a lot of subjects that people would rather not acknowledge, especially in video games. And now they're taking over this zombie game, and Deep Silver's like, hey, you know what? We're trying to create the best game possible, and that's why you're not part of it. And they're saying like, yeah, we probably have some of the best people in the world, but unfortunately, our visions fell out of alignment. It sounds like people are saying, no, fuck you, bro. Like,
yeah, well, I can definitely see if Jaeger wanted to maybe explore some different themes that Deep Silver wasn't comfortable with, whereas Deep Silver, I mean, they've put out some good games, they've put out some incredibly awful games.
Yeah.
But they rarely put out games that take risks. Like, they just sort of, like, even their worst games, like Road to Hell, Retribution, or whatever, which is a big diarrhea shit stain, but it's a diarrhea shit stain that just uses a bunch of things that on paper you go, oh yeah, lots of popular games have that thing, so it must be a good idea to have this in our game.
Well, to be fair, actually, there are some notes that came out of what they were working on.
Okay.
And one of the things was that there was an evil corporation in Dead Island 2 called Seep Dilver. So that's... No, I'm kidding. That's not true. That's not, for
That
a
would
second,
be amazing.
I know.
When you first said that, I was just like, oh, did they just do that to be total dicks?
Wouldn't that be amazing, though?
Oh my god, that would be so good.
So-
Hey, Jaeger, get on Kickstarter. I'll give you all my money, I promise.
We'll see how that turns out. But either way, Dead Island 2, who knows when it's coming out, because it's not going to be 2016 like they said it was going to be, I bet, anymore. So stay tuned for more on that for the hype train. Toot toot! Itagaki, the guy who worked on all those Ninja Gaiden games, as well as Dead or Alive, and has a number of sexual harassment lawsuits from his employees. He has warned people his upcoming game, Devil's Third, who knows what's going on with that title exactly. It's coming to the Wii U. It's a Wii U exclusive, so you're going to play with the gamepad? Nay. Itagaki says, put that gamepad down. Pick up that Pro Controller. Here's what he said in a Facebook post. Yep, okay. We're going with that. Facebook post.
It's the official channel for releasing this information.
Why do I recommend Pro Controller? I never want to discount standard tab controller. He keeps calling it tab controller.
Tab, like it's a soda?
I was thinking like it's a guitar tab, you know. I'm trying to learn how to play some Oasis songs on my tab controller. But Devil's Third is a super speedy game. So tab controller has following disadvantages. 1, 4 face buttons are positioned overcrowding. So I don't know who translated this. So you can easily press the wrong button. In that case, you will die. 2, distance of 2 analog sticks are too far apart. It's quite difficult for you to feel/grasp the battlefield. 3, and Devil's 3. Devil's Third is a game you play a long time. The standard tab controller is too heavy for such use. Valhalla Games, the developer, chimed in at the last moment saying, as Itagaki mentioned in his Facebook column, please use Pro Controller along with a USB keyboard when you preview Devil's Third. Tablet controller is not recommended. So even they're like, tablet controller. What the fuck is tablet controller?
What is any of this? The face buttons are too close together? It's the same!
It is...
A Pro Controller is just... It's the same setup, just smushed together because there's no screen in the middle.
Okay. I'm gonna say the controller, the buttons are a little bigger and a little more far... Very little. I swear there's a difference. However, if I were to put it up this one, they'd be like, no, I don't see it. But there is, because I played Bayonetta 2. I'm not, as for the sticks, I get it, because they're close together. No, don't get me wrong. I agree with him on his points on how to play action games. What I don't understand is this fucking message. Why he's out there be like, do not play with the game. Why are you telling people what to play with?
Yeah.
Don't say that.
Let people figure it out. Like, I mean, there's...
Do you own Pro Controller? No, the game is $100.
I always go back, like, the original Xbox, and they had that giant, beefy idiot controller.
I love the Duke.
If you have like hands that are the size of like catcher's mitts, then that's fine for you. And I have a friend.
Yeah.
And he's got giant like porterhouse steak hands.
Yeah.
And he loves the original Xbox controller.
And you guys are still friends after all that.
And we're still friends. And you know what? I wouldn't, if I was making a video game, I wouldn't be like, do not use the giant Xbox steak hand controller. Like, who cares?
Well, I think I might have jumped on your points a little bit too quick. Where were you going with that exactly?
I think the only thing you can say is if he included like touch screen support where like, there were button prompts for combos or something like on the touch screen, and he was just like, yeah, we put this in here, but it doesn't work, so don't use it. Mm-hmm. It'd be like, okay, 1, fuck you. If it doesn't work, that's your fault. And 2, like that, it's your decision. Like, who cares?
Yeah.
And it's not that fundamentally different. Like, it's not like when you would play like a Wii game,
and
it'd be like, oh well, like Mad World. Mad World's a great example.
Sure.
If you're playing Mad World, it's a lot easier to play Mad World if you're using a controller as opposed to like the remote and nunchuck. But the general form factor of the tablet controller isn't that different. I don't understand. I
prefer using the Pro Controller, but I think both of us can agree this is one of the most unnecessary statements ever provided by a developer to consumers.
Yeah.
I'm just baffled that he even put this out.
Well, because
and the game looks like shit. The game looks like complete shit.
Yeah, I haven't seen anything since they first revealed it. I'm going to have to do some Googling when I get home.
I'm telling you, I mean, if you love Shadow Man 64, you'll love Devil's Third.
Oh, boy. That's good.
All right, let's get on the hype train. Doot, doot. We have 11 new Rock Band 4 songs.
Oh.
Great sentence, Colin. 10 out of 10. 10 pressure points.
Colin's erection is growing because the only thing Colin loves more than Shenmue is Rock Band.
And I'm probably just going to get the guitar pack, and then I'm going to pick up the drums later on because I think they're going to have special drums.
No keytar?
I already have the keytar from Rock Band 3. It's really fun. That's how I learned how to play Werewolves of London. I love Rock Band. Here are the 11 new songs. Check it out. Check it out. First of all, Aerosmith, Toys in the Attic. Arguably the best Aerosmith song. Arguably.
That's fair.
Except for maybe Jaded, because that is an earworm.
Fuck you.
That is a good song. The Cure, Friday, and I'm in Love. Well, it's Friday, I'm in Love.
That's nice.
I love that song. Dream Theater, Metropolis Part 1, The Miracle, and The Sleeper.
That's lame.
I don't really like Dream Theater.
No, that's like Skinny Wiener Rock.
How about Foo Fighters, The Feast and the Famine? Don't you got somebody over at Optimus Vaccine that loves Foo Fighters?
That hates the Foo Fighters.
Judas Priest, Halls of Valhalla. Not a bad Judas Priest track, if I'm honest. Live, All Over You. That's a good song. The Outfield, Your Love.
That's a good song.
I know, it's a good song. The Ozzy Osbourne, Miracle Man, Deep Cut.
That is a deep cut.
Paramore, Still Into You, whatever. St. Vincent, Birth in Reverse.
Man, nothing says rock and roll like St. Vincent, am I right? She can shred.
Van Morrison, Brown Eyed Girl. Ooh, baby. I'm sorry, but if you are with some buddies and you are getting drunk, you're not going to want to play Guitar Hero. You're going to want to play Brown Eyed Girl, because even if you don't like the song, you know every fucking word of that.
Yeah, Brown Eyed Girl is one of those songs where sometimes people just get drunk and start singing it, like, spontaneously. Like,
Yeah.
I've seen many a person in a bar, like, fall over, eyes rolling back in their head, going, doo-doo-doo-doo-doo. That's a good choice.
I just think that this is such a killer track list, and that they are well on their way to becoming the greatest game of all time, objectively speaking.
Well, I mean,
of course.
behind Shenmue 3, until Shenmue 3 comes out.
Of course. I'm just saying, like, man, they get it. These are songs that, if you have a group of people, you're going to like at least 3 of these songs.
Mm-hmm.
Just saying. Wait a minute. Do they have anything about the keytar? No, they got nothing about keytar. Okay, moving on. I'm sorry. Toot toot! Street Fighter 5 DLC. There's going to be a ton of it. It's going to be coming out regularly as individual characters instead of one giant pack like they did with all the Super Street Fighter. They're going to be balancing the game more. But of course, when you get those DLC characters, you better shell out the cash. So how are you going to do it? Are you going to use your credit card? Are you going to use a prepaid card? Or are you going to earn those characters by going one-on-one with people online? That's right. There is going to be an in-game currency, Zenny, which is the same currency from Dragon Ball. Yeah, if you actually win fights, if you do enough, play the game enough, you'll earn in-game currency and buy those new characters that way. So basically saying, thanks for playing our game a bunch. Here's all the new stuff.
See, that's how we used to do it back in the PlayStation days.
But does that not mean that it basically becomes, in a way, play to win or pay to win?
Well, because you're not paying to win, you're just paying to buy characters, so pay to play more, I guess, if you want.
Pay to play. Payola. You're coming with us, sir. Wasn't Payola, like, that was just a huge scam, though, right? Like, Payola didn't really exist. They were just arresting people for playing black people records.
That was part of it. There's a couple of DJs that actually took a lot of money.
Yeah.
Because it was easy back then, and it was like, who cares? If you have a bunch of, especially because bands would record covers of the same song, so if you've got 9 versions of Louie Louie and someone's like, here's 10 grand, play my version. Okay.
Yeah, well, to be fair, I can never get enough Louie Louie. But that being said, Street Fighter, very excited about that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Because we had to talk about the 1950s radio DJ scandal. I mean, I can't wait, especially because they already said that they're going to have somewhere in the range of 16 characters when the game launches, and 4 of those are going to be brand new to the franchise. There's a new character being announced at EVO tonight.
Oh, cool.
Which is yesterday for all you new listeners on Monday. I'm sorry. Did I even say, oh yeah, iTunes, Stitcher, YouTube, TuneIn Radio, Shepherd,
all that
Express.
stuff.
I forgot to even mention that in the beginning. Didn't even say Mondays. Good job. Best episode ever.
Best.
By the way, and this is totally unauthentic, just off the top of my head right here. Did you hear that Jamie Lee Curtis went to EVO dressed as Vega? Like, she had a fake, like, skin thing that she
Yeah,
wore.
like a
over her chest.
bodysuit.
Yeah, and she wore the Vega mask and was like, I love EVO.
Oh, yeah. I saw that, and it was totally weird because it's just like, oh, I didn't even know you liked video games. She's, in the last 5 years, she's really came out as, like, the cool old mom lady.
Yeah, and she always eats really good yogurt that'll help
Very
her
good,
poop.
yeah.
Regulate.
Helps keep her regular. I
Yeah.
can't even talk.
The regulator, Jamie Lee
the
Curtis.
regulator. Warren G and Jamie Lee Curtis.
Yo, what if she starts
Their hit
coming out?
song, Yogurt Dumps.
They gotta play Warren G, have her come out at EVO, and make her the regulator, and she's playing as Vega. But I no offense to Jamie Lee Curtis, but I doubt she knows how to play as Vega. Yeah, anyone can do that, like, crouch, like, heavy punch where he does the long claw thing. But, like, seriously, does she even know how to do charge-up attacks? I fucking doubt it, you know? I'm just saying.
What a hater.
I'm just saying.
I think she's great.
Toot toot! Tekken Cross Street Fighter is not canceled, according to Kashihiro Harada. Kashihiro Harada.
And was this released to the press just to remind people that this game existed in the first place? Because that was my reaction. I was like, oh yeah, I remember they're going to do 2 of those games. And one was going to be in the Street Fighter world, one was going to be in the Tekken world.
Well, this is the Tekken guy, and they said, well, obviously the game is being canceled. And he literally says, that's not true! I've been saying this since before, but the fact of the matter is we're pretty far stage into its development. It might seem like we haven't started on it at all, but the character lineup has been decided upon since very long time ago. And we've already finished the polygonal models, moves, and systems.
So, is it using the last Tekken game's engine, or did they build a whole new engine? Like, what's taking
There's no
so
such thing
long?
as the last Tekken game. It will continue forever. But there's a new Tekken game, Tekken 7, that's going to be out in arcades later this summer.
And is it using the Tekken 7 engine, or is it using the Tekken 6 engine?
There's a new engine for Tekken 7. We don't know anything about this title.
Okay.
We still don't know, and because, I mean, it's more along the lines of like, hey, Street Fighter in 3D. How's that going to work?
Yeah.
Tekken, Street Fighter Cross Tekken is not a great game, but it is fun. I think it does have some issues with loading times, really, but it needed more polish than it had, and the whole gem system was just fucking garbage. I don't know. Toot toot! Okay, Shenmue 3. It's, we're going to talk about what it did on Kickstarter later on, but there has been a note that was released saying that they are not possible whether Shenmue 3 will be available for retail, meaning that unless you back the game, you might not be getting no physical copy, brah. Which, I should say it right now, I did not back the game. I plan on reviewing the game, and it would be improper, in my opinion. All right.
I'm making faces at Colin right now.
Steve is pulling back his 50-foot baseball bat, and I'm about to throw a grain of rice at him right here. But I will not be doing it because I want to review the game, and I want to keep at least the seeming ability of integrity.
So, actually, Colin, it's about ethics in game journalism? Thank you.
Well,
we were talking about this earlier, like... I totally understand. I totally respect that.
Yeah.
And yeah, it's like each place has its own policy. But I was just thinking, like, and this is just from like, I don't know, big picture. Like, take yourself out of like the reviewer's shoes or whatever. Like, what is the difference? Unless you're doing the thing where you're like back $15,000 worth and you get the jacket or whatever. But if you just do like the tier where all you get is the game,
right?
Like, what's the difference between pre-ordering a game or buying a game on launch day and reviewing it, and then or backing it on Kickstarter?
Because I am literally contributing to the creation of
the process.
Whereas,
even if it's already like hit the goal, like if you were to back at the last day, where obviously they're not going to hit like the next milestone or whatever.
So let's say the game was in early access. I'm paying for a good that I'm able to use, and it's there and I can look at it. Maybe I wouldn't review it because it's in early access. Whereas with Kickstarter, they might have a project underway, but I'm gaining nothing until a later date, and the product being delivered to me is only possible through people like me contributing to its creation.
Whereas if you were to, like, let's say you went to GameStop and you're like, I want to pre-order Legend of Zelda, which clearly isn't done yet. But you're not directly contributing because the game is going to get made regardless of whether or not.
Yeah.
Okay.
I feel
I can see that. There's nuance.
I'm giving money to help to fund a game instead of paying for a product or a good or service in exchange for money. There's got to be some sort of a middleman, I like to think. As soon as I start giving money directly to the developer for development, I'm like, I don't think I could do this.
Yeah, sure. So you're still going to buy it on day one, obviously.
Nah, I might get around to it. Toot toot! Okay, Halo 5, the limited collector's edition, is $250, and it's got a bunch of crazy Master Chief stuff going on in there. It's wild, kids. You're going to love it. Except it does not come with a physical copy of the game.
Oh, you buried the lead.
It does not come with a physical copy of the game. However, 343 has released a statement on Halo Waypoint. Today, we're able to confirm that for those who would like a physical disc, we'll provide an option for fans to exchange their digital copy for a physical copy at no additional cost. Of course, the collector's edition will be released on October 20th. The game will be released on October 27th. The game wasn't even going to unlock until the 27th, so that'll give them plenty of time.
Well, but are they going to, like, if they give them the option to do that or whatever, does that mean you're going to have to, like, mail your code to 343 Studios and then they will mail you a copy of Halo?
Yeah.
It's not like you can walk into GameStop on launch night and just get one.
No, you gotta fill out a piece of. It's gotta be some loose leaf, lined paper, and you gotta write out your number as well as a picture of
Dear Mr. Master Chief.
Picture of Master Chief hanging out with Stick Stickly, and then mail it over to Nickelodeon. You get your copy.
Yeah, I don't see how they can do this effectively, because if I'm a big enough dork to buy a $250 Halo thing,
Yeah.
I'm going to want to play it the moment it unlocks.
They're betting that at least some people won't, though, which will lower the price of them shipping it.
That's so weird.
I know. It's
Ugh.
The world is a bad place full of bad people. Toot toot! Moving on. Randy Pitchford, who we'll be talking about later, had this to say about the Brothers in Arms series. Of course, Brothers in Arms was a World War II strategy shooter, I guess you could say, very deep and strategic. And, of course, there was Furious 4, which never came to fruition. That was supposed to be like a modern day, kind of like a Battlefield, Bad Company-esque sort of rendition on the series. Here's what he said. I think the next Brothers in Arms game has to be authentic, and we have been working on that. I feel we have unfinished business there with both the fiction and the history, and I'd like to get into that. I spend a lot of time thinking about it. Sadly, it takes a lot of resources, energy, and money to do what we must. So it's not something I could completely do alone. I need good partners for it. So we've been talking to great folks, but it's really putting all that together that's the limiting factor.
Oh, Randy. You don't have a good track record with your partners, Randy.
Yeah, we don't actually often know who those partners are until we see the credits of 3 different teams.
Yeah.
Also stated he wants to make a new Duke Nukem.
Of course he does. Why? Well, I guess it couldn't be any worse than Duke Nukem Forever. There's a game that... So, I pre-ordered Duke Nukem Forever. I got it, and I didn't read any reviews, because I'm like, I just want to go into this with my fond memories of playing Duke Nukem in my childhood, and I replayed Duke Nukem, and I was just like, okay, this is kind of shitty now, but I see why I liked it as a kid, and I played it. Duke Nukem Forever was horrible. Like, I mean, I'm sure you've read everything about it, but it's crazy because it's almost like historical game design tourism. So because the game was patched together from so many different builds, you can see like the evolution of game design thread like through the whole thing. It's horrific. But yeah, fuck Randy Pitchford, man.
We'll talk more about Randy later.
Big Randy. I'm calling him out. Boxing match. Let's do it.
Let's get Steve in a good mood. Toot toot! The Binding of Isaac Rebirth is coming on July 23rd to Xbox One, Wii U, and new 3DS. It's already available on the Vita and PlayStation 4 and PC. But yes, you will need a new 3DS if you want to play this.
So you got me happy just to make me sad again, didn't you?
Toot toot! Elder Scrolls Online has announced, well, they didn't announce anything, but Bethesda announced that the DLC expansion Imperial City will be available on August 31st for PC and Mac owners, and then September 15th for Xbox One, September 16th for PlayStation 4. It's going to be $20 unless you have an ESO Plus membership, in which case, just take it, buddy. It's all yours. There's going to be a bunch of new content.
Cool.
It's available to players level 10 and up. Toot toot! The Deadpool game that was removed from Steam, Xbox 360 and PlayStation 3 is back on Steam. No word yet on if that will actually return to consoles.
And we never found out like why it went away in the first
Disney.
place? Disney? Okay.
Disney.
Just like weird.
Licensing deals.
Licensing, yeah. Okay.
Toot toot! Prototype 1 and 2 was released on the Xbox One this week. And it's $50, and the frame rate is worse than when it was on Xbox 360.
Ugh. So I could probably just go to GameStop and spend $10 and buy both prototype games and just play them? Okay, that's what I thought.
It was, studio that developed it, of course, was closed in 2012.
Yeah.
Anyway, let's pull into the station. That's the end of the hype train. We'll see how long this segment really lasts.
Yeah, I'm just waiting for someone to put together a super cut of you saying toot toot on the podcast.
Don't give anybody any ideas.
I'd like a 10-hour super cut of Colin's toot toots.
Toot toot. Okay, so we of course have the chart park. We've got the idiot of the week, and we have Pocket Talk. Yeah.
Pack attack.
Who could forget all these great things? But we gotta take a break. So hang around, and we'll be back with more stuff. Hey, Steve, thanks for inviting me over for the game here. What kind of snacks you got here?
Well, I got some popcorn that I've doused in butter. I have some deep-fried bacon. And this is just Crisco in a bowl. I know it looks like ice cream, but it's just Crisco.
Okay. we need to have a talk right here, right now, about NatureBox.com. You want to eat snacks while you're watching the game? You don't want to eat all that healthy tofu junk, but you do want to pay attention to what you're eating. NatureBox has got you covered with a number of different chips and pretzels. Chips and pretzels, you can't have that and eat healthy. Yes, you can. Just listen to me for 2 seconds. You can have guacamole bites. You can have Kung Pao pretzels. How about some garlic plantains? Chocolate banana chips? It's happening, folks. What about masa crisps? Honey Crunch crisps? These snacks are so good. Your Crisco is garbage, Steve. These are good. And you know what's the difference? These snacks right here don't have high fructose corn syrup. These snacks right here don't have artificial colors, artificial sweeteners, or artificial flavors. None of that trans fats, which is all that Crisco is, and partially hydrogenated oils. In fact, you can get yourself a free sample from NatureBox.com. 5 pre-selected snacks. That's right. 5 pre-selected snacks for free. Your satisfaction is guaranteed, so snack healthier and snack smarter. Go to naturebox.com. Help me throw away this Crisco over here, Steve.
Fine. So you don't want this glass of corn syrup? How are you going to wash it down?
We need that talk. Come back to the show. Welcome back to the show. Ugh. I know we just took a break or whatever, but it's just like every time I come back in this studio, it just smells and it's hot in here, and I want to go outside and just look at the trees, which is why we need to go outside to the Chart Park, the land where money grows on trees.
Was that extra creepy just for Goose this week? Is that?
Yes, the Chart Park. This is the part of the show where we will find out which fat cats of Wall Street will tip their top hats towards Lady Luck as we cover all the financial and business news in the video game industry, starting off with Nintendo. And apparently, according to an unnamed source that spoke to VentureBeat, AMD will more than likely be developing the processor for the Nintendo NX, according to the unnamed source. They are going to announce it, and then you will find out that it is AMD's APU that is being used in those products. Very descriptive, unnamed source.
Makes sense.
Of course, they've developed the processors for the Wii U. Of course, they've developed the processors for the PlayStation 4. Of course, they've developed the processors for the Xbox One.
And the Wii.
And the Wii, which actually allowed for backwards compatibility on the Wii U. Now that you bring that up. And of course, AMD is not doing great financially.
Yeah. I mean, it's weird too because all of these deals, it seems like a really smart idea because if you have the home console market like locked down with your hardware, then it seems like more developers who make cross-platform stuff for PC and home consoles
Right.
will optimize for AMD products.
Optimized vaccine.
Optimizevaccine.com. No, don't go to that. Go to optimismvaccine.com. Yeah, so it seems smart. I don't know why they continue to lose money and why NVIDIA still sells cards that are equally powerful but twice as expensive.
I imagine it has something to do with AMD making some very good deals with these console manufacturers and saying, you know what, we will make sure...
Good deals for the manufacturers.
Oh, yeah, saying like, oh, sure, we'll only make $2 off every system. I mean, it has to be something just miserable, just pathetic. Because like someone just put up something on Reddit the other day where it's like, hey, AMD is only worth, 37% of this company they acquired 10 years ago. Like, it was like something like the amount they spent to acquire a company 10 years ago, they're worth 37% of that deal. Like, that's an astronomical fall. It's funny when you watch, like, old Attitude Era wrestling shows, and then it's like, you got big AMD logos in the background. They used to be big, brah. They used to be big. Back when you play that Fear. You gotta play that Fear with that AMD. Moving on. We need a new sound effect for the Chart Park. Just cha-ching, you know? Oh,
this
God.
Is good. I'm going to get you an old-timey cash register and a train whistle so you can just do all these sound effects.
Making money. Doot, doot, cha-ching, cha-ching. A lot of money in trains. In fact, they are more valuable now than they were 20 years ago. True story. I was hanging out with the vice president, Joe Biden, earlier. Comcast has actually partnered up with Electronic Arts for their brand new Comcast X1 cable box. What they're going to be doing is allowing over 20 EA games to be streamed directly to you, which you will control with your smartphone or tablet. No traditional controllers are allowed, and they will be able to play games such as Mule, which is a great game, but Mule, I don't think the kids are going to be...
Hey, man, that game was fun as shit in like 1988.
The kids are dancing in the street for that Mule, or NBA Jam, which...
Not Tournament Edition, though, right? Just the original?
I don't know. I don't know if they're using like the Wii version and the PS3 version, or if they... I don't know if they technically have the rights to the Midway version from the 90s.
Well, I mean, the Midway version from the 90s, it's gotten a release on like Xbox Live Arcade and stuff.
Yeah.
So I would assume they own it. Yeah, and that would make more sense too, because I don't know if you could stream with zero latency a game like that and control it wirelessly from a tablet. Like, just because Comcast is doing this deal, and the funny thing is it's probably going to fail because their own infrastructure is shit because they're greedy assheads.
Yeah, I mean, at the there's something very weird about a company that runs something like MSNBC that just rails against corporations, and then at the same time they run like the absolute worst internet service right next to Billy's personal internet service. Dial 241. No, it's just,
yeah,
it's pathetic.
So yeah, I guess if you have Google Fiber, you could stream modern games, but until then.
Yeah, until then, we will see. Oculus has acquired Pebbles Interfaces. What is Pebbles Interfaces? Well, they're actually out of Israel. The CTO of Pebbles, Nadav Grossinger, had this to say: "At Pebbles Interfaces, we've been focusing on pushing the limits of digital sensing technology to accelerate the future of human-computer interaction." And he's not kidding. This is replicating the movement of hands, and it's almost one-to-one. It's shocking. So by Oculus picking up this company, they might have that point where, never mind about those controllers, just move your hands. Wow. If only there was like, I don't know, some other sort of interface that you controlled with your hands. Like, I'm surprised Microsoft isn't in on this. Whatever. Moving on. Jade Raymond. She was, of course, was the co-creator of the Assassin's Creed franchise. She has joined Electronic Arts to work on Visceral's Star Wars games. That's right. That means Amy Hennig and Jade Raymond, like two of the most powerful women in the video game industry, are joining creative forces to make Star Wars. Because Star Wars,
yeah.
To be fair, Star Wars has obviously some of the most popular, heroines in history, such as... Well, no. Maybe not the more recent movies, but in the original trilogy, there was... Well, you can't tell the gender of some of those aliens. You don't know what's going on.
Yeah. Spoiler alert, Greedo's a woman.
According to Jade, "I've known Amy for years and have admired her work on the Uncharted games! I'm thrilled that the first big project that we will work on in Montreal will have Amy as a creative director." This is just is shaping up. You've got the Uncharted people and you've got the Assassin's Creed people working for Electronic Arts on Star Wars.
Yeah, that's pretty big time.
Big time.
I guess. I just wish they were doing something that wasn't Star Wars, but...
Yeah, but they really, Star Wars. Woo. Activision stock just did a bang-up week as it has reached an all-time high at $26 a share.
Sell.
So I guess if you're a person that follows, the finances of video game companies like myself, you might be saying, well, hold on here, like Nintendo... Like, let's forget about Sony and forget about Microsoft. You're like, well, Nintendo's stock is higher than that, and it has been higher than that. That's because they are a manufacturer of hardware. For a third-party developer, $26 a share is fucking crazy.
Yeah, if you want to compare it to an IPO, look at, like King Games right now and where they're at, and think of how many,
They are the king.
Yeah. Think of all the Candy Crush they've sold and how their stock has fluctuated. So this is actually pretty impressive for Activision. Although, if I had a bunch of Activision stock, if this was the highest they get, I would probably just sell it now because I don't think it's going to get much higher. And since, if I'm not mistaken, Call of Duty sales are down, yes?
They are down, but they are picking up in a number of avenues, including mobile devices, as well as Skylanders, as well as Destiny. But you're absolutely right.
I'll probably sell.
Call of Duty has not been doing particularly well. It's been down, basically year over year. I mean, they're really having to deal with the ghosts of the past.
Yeah.
Honk, honk. Moving on. Halo has sold 65 million copies in the entire franchise. Keep in mind that also counts Halo Spartan Assault on iOS and Windows devices.
Your favorite?
My favorite, Shenmue 3, had its Kickstarter wrap up recently with $6.3 million, making it the most funded video game on Kickstarter ever. It is aiming for a release date of 2017. We kind of already talked about Shenmue, but Steve's thoughts?
I'm happy. I'm glad that like a weird game like Shenmue that has had so much trouble, getting proper sequels and stuff like that is actually, getting this kind of support.
Right.
And I was wondering, like, okay, so this is the most funded video game.
Yeah.
What's just the most funded thing? Like just flat out thing.
Well, Flat Out has never been on there, although.
But I mean, like I can't think of anything that was a bigger Kickstarter success than Ouya was the first big one.
Yeah, it was,
and that's video game hardware.
Oculus.
Oculus was another big one, and then you had just like a slew of video games in the last like year and a half.
It's true. I'm not exactly sure what is the most fun thing. I bet it's some stupid watch for people that ride their bikes at night.
Oh, like was it the Pebble watch or something? That was a thing.
So much of this garbage is just made for people to just look bourgeois as fuck, and Kickstarter makes me want to vomit. Makes me want to vomit.
Well, at least you're outside.
Yeah, at least I am outside. It should be worth noting, though, that, of course, Yu Suzuki said that to make a truly open world, they would require $10 million. I'm going to assume, and I'm just assuming here, that Sony is going to be like, all right.
Yeah, like another $3.5 million is a drop in the bucket for them for what they'll make.
We're just supposed to cover marketing, but all right, here you go.
You only get a truly open world on PS4.
Dude, drop the change and make it exclusive. Because I swear to God, if Nintendo or any of these companies would have made Shenmue 3 an exclusive, they'd be doing a lot better.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe not hand over fist, but there's a lot of people that aren't in the games anymore that like Shenmue that will buy a console to play your fun little game. Excellent. Moving on! According to a study over in the UK, so this is reflective of UK video game enthusiasts, a survey of over 2,000 people, 39% of the 2,000 surveyed said they prefer to buy physical games over digital, followed by 36% saying they have no preference, and only 25% saying they want to own games digitally. Me personally, physical. When they shut off those servers, I don't want to know what happens.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I don't like having digital only games.
Yeah.
I definitely like the physical things. I wish that there were more like we get all these dumb collector's editions like the Call of Duty soda can dispenser and the Master Chief helmet urinal or whatever is coming out for $250. I wish that games kind of got the treatment that like that Mega Man collection is getting, sort of like the the Criterion Collection special edition treatment. And then I would be really more inclined to buy physical copies of games. But as it stands now, like I have a ton of games on Steam, and it's like, well, hopefully Steam doesn't take these away from me, but I'm okay with it just for storage purposes. But I'd really just I love the packaging, I love the extras. Give me some cool shit.
Yeah, how about an instruction book?
Yeah, instruction
cool.
manual would be nice.
Yeah. By the way, I played Blaster Master a bunch this week. That game's really good.
Pretty fun, yeah.
I didn't
it's a good
know.
game. It holds up pretty well. You didn't play that when you were a kid?
Yeah, I did. I just thought it wasn't too good. And now I'm playing it now, and I'm like, holy shit, this
It's hard
is incredible.
as fuck, though, man.
Save
really
states,
hard.
son. Save states.
Oh.
But I use them good. I go into the boss battle, and if I only got 4 health, I save state, and I just play through there. And when I die, I just load it up, and I go, man, I wish I didn't only have 4 health, but I'm going to work through this. Come on. I have big adult things to do. I can't just sit around and play Blaster Master all day without save states. But with save states, I can play Blaster Master all day. Check out the first hour. It's a good video. Okay, Xbox One actually outsold the PlayStation 4 for a week.
For like 5 minutes.
For a week! But hear me out. This was E3 week, which means that the messaging of Microsoft must have done some pretty good stuff there.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, considering that they announced backwards compatibility, and I'm sure a lot of people still have backwards. They still have old Xbox 360 games. They have backwards games. In fact, their sales rose 79% compared to E3 last year. And for June of last year compared to now, it jumped up 51%. So the sales are picking up. Unfortunately, Sony still dominated June, largely thanks to the Batman Arkham Knight marketing, as well as the Batman Arkham Knight console bundle.
Mm-hmm.
So not really a shock there, really. It's unfortunate for them. But what are the 10 best-selling games in the United States? Let's find out. Number 10 is Call of Duty Advanced Warfare, which was actually the number 1 most downloaded game in the United States. Number 9 was NBA 2K15. Number 8 was Mortal Kombat, which it was also the 8th most downloaded game according to SuperData.
Huh.
Funny. Number 7 was Grand Theft Auto 5, which was the 2nd most downloaded game. Number 6 was Minecraft, which was not even on the top 10 most downloaded. Number 5 was Splatoon. Number 4 was Witcher Wild Hunt, which was number 7 most downloaded game. Number 3 was Lego Jurassic World, which nobody downloaded because only children go to GameStop. Number 2 was The Elder Scrolls Online Tamriel Unlimited, which was the number 3 most downloaded game. And number 1 was Batman Arkham Knight, which was
Splatoon is still hanging strong, though.
it's doing okay. Which, by the way, Batman was the 4th most downloaded game according to SuperData. Worth noting, though, the 6th most downloaded game in the month of June was Call of Duty Ghosts.
That's kind of weird.
What are you doing? What are you people doing?
I wonder if there's just like a sale or something?
Yeah,
I don't know.
fire sale. Fucking burn that game to the ground. Awful.
I wish we had numbers for the amount of people who returned Batman Arkham Knight on PC, like got their Steam refund.
Ooh, that would be nice. That'd be very, very nice. But of course, the MPDs are all physical, so we know that much. And given that that report did say that most people prefer physical, I think that is a pretty good indication of what is selling the most. Obviously, we're seeing a comparison of numbers where Advanced Warfare is obviously actually, literally goes from 10 to first place in terms of downloads, but more people are buying physical still, it appears. I don't have the UK numbers. I'll tell you this much. Formula 1 2015 is the best-selling game in the UK right now. Who cares about any of that other stuff? We had to talk about American numbers. The numbers that matter, people. But let's go over to the cursed land of trains known as Japan for the 10 best-selling games over in Japan. I don't even have the hardware numbers this week.
None of the hardware numbers?
I screwed up.
Wait.
man.
I can do it. Ready?
Okay, all right.
PlayStation 4, 16,189.
New Nintendo 3DS, 15,921.
Wii U, 14,180.
New Nintendo 3DS regular, 11,200.
And then we just keep going. And then all of a sudden,
in last place.
the Xbox One with 108.
There we go. There's your numbers
There
right
it
there.
is.
But
Stop.
let's see what are the 10 best-selling games in Japan. Number 10 on the 3DS is Dragon Ball Z Extreme Budokan. Number 9 is Mario Kart 8. Number 8 is Minecraft PlayStation Vita Edition. Number 7 is Cho Tosuchu Astumari Saiko Yu No Tusu Monochi. That's literally.
Oh, is that it?
That's it. It's a sentence.
Chose. Oh gosh. Your inflection was all off because it's clearly Cho Tosuchu Asumari. Like there's an exclamation
point. They
Yeah.
need to have 2 exclamation points for me to count.
That second word, I don't know what that is. I can't say that.
Number 6. Rhythm Heaven, the best plus.
Yes.
Number 5 is Splatoon. Number 4 is Fire Emblem's If Birthright/Conquest. Number 3, I'm so jealous. On the PlayStation Vita, Taiko Drum Master V version.
Ooh.
Number 2 is The Great Ace Attorney on the 3DS, which I believe is a compilation of all the games.
Oh, that's cool. Is that coming to America?
No, of course not.
fuck.
No, we don't deserve anything cool.
I want an Ace Attorney collection.
No, not allowed. And number 1 is Yokai Watch Busters Red Cat Team / White Dog Squad.
Which is kind of like Pokemon, but not.
Yokai Watch looks really good.
It does. It looks like Goofy Pokemon.
Yeah. What if Goofy was a Pokemon?
Yeah. What if Goofy was the Pokemon? He'd be a dog type.
Yeah, I guess.
He's a dog, right? Goofy's a dog.
Are we going to bring this up? Or is that where we're going? We're going to bring up Pluto, and why is Pluto doesn't talk, and Goofy talks? Well,
No, I wasn't even thinking about that.
All
But
right.
yeah, that's fucked up.
People always bring it up. I mean,
Pluto's like the missing link.
he is. Oh, God. We're not doing this. This is cliche. But more importantly, this is the end of the chart park. The land with an anchor and trees. Okay. Let's get tiny. It's time for Pocket Talk. Kicking off Pocket Talk, where we talk about all the mobile games and mobile developments. We have some very interesting news right here. Commodore has a smartphone. Repeat, Commodore has a smartphone known as the Commodore PET, named after the popular Commodore computer, which Satoru Iwata developed his very first PC game on, which was known as Car Race 2. There, I just bummed everybody out there. But this Android phone is going to have 2 emulators that will run Commodore 64 games as well as Amiga games. Now, I might be saying, Commodore still exists? No, sillies. It, of course, went bankrupt in 1994, and it's just a name that is owned by some random Italian company.
So it's going to be distributed by the random Italian company?
Yeah.
Or I don't know how any of this is going to work. Do they have like any sort of like deals with any of the major cell phone manufacturers, or is this going to be like an open unlocked phone that you just buy? Like, none of this sounds like a good idea.
No, but Commodore is... No, you're right. That's a dumb idea. This is a big, stupid mistake. Stupid Italian company.
And also, correct me if I'm wrong, but couldn't I just hop on the Android marketplace right now and just download a Commodore 64 emulator?
Yes.
So...
And?
I'm just trying to figure out why I need this thing.
Your phone doesn't say Commodore on it.
I could make it say Commodore, probably for a lot less.
It would be a lie, because it wouldn't be officially licensed by some random company that purchased the rights 21 years ago.
Okay.
Moving on. Angry Birds is officially getting a sequel. That's right. After 2 billion downloads. Angry Birds 2. Hey, Paulie! Angry Birds 2 has been confirmed by Ravio. That's, yes.
You're a bum, Colin.
There's no confirmation of release dates. And there is no information about it, though I believe it will probably involve those crazy pigs and the birds. I like Angry Birds.
Oh, it's a fun time waster. It's a good bus game.
Yeah.
Well, I like the Star Wars ones because the birds are dressed up like Luke Skywalker's.
It is cool to see
fun.
Luke Skywalker implode after he fails to topple over the Empire.
Imperial Pig Fortress.
Moving over to Fallout Shelter. This is a little bit of Chart Park sneaking in here. Fallout Shelter just earned $5.1 million in its first 2 weeks.
That's a lot of money for a game that's free.
This is all optional. Also, Star Wars Commander is going to get a major expansion called Worlds in Conflict. Oh, actually, it just already released. After 18 million downloads, you will now be able to engage in these new features such as world relocation, galaxy map, updated play menu, planetary conflicts, PvP victory, loot bonus, and planetary leaderboards.
So this is a game that I didn't even know existed, but I'm guessing it's probably just like Clash of Clans or Game of War or something like that. And it has nothing to do with the real-time strategy game from like the late 90s, early 2000s that you and I both remember but can't think of the name of.
Oh my god.
Because I swear to God it was Star Wars Commander, but that's apparently not it.
And it wasn't good. I remember specifically it wasn't good, and it was a big deal at E3.
I have no idea if it was good. I just remember I played it a lot, and I don't know. I mean, I guess if it was great, I would have remembered more about it. But hey, that's something to email us about. Send us an email. What the hell are we talking about with this Star Wars RTS game?
Did you ever play that Star Trek game that was like shareware and wasn't even officially licensed on computers? It was Next Generation, and you just flew the ship around, and like the Borg existed, but you could turn them off in the options. It was really awesome.
Huh. No, I didn't play that one. I played Star Trek on the NES. The Next Generation game is the one that I like the most.
Oof.
That was a good one.
That was okay. I'm just saying, the Genesis had the real deal.
I'm trying to think of what... The only one I can think of with the Borg in it is there was a Star Trek... It was just called like Star Trek Borg or something like that.
Wasn't that the Voyager PC game?
I can't remember. I think it was an FMV game. And there was another FMV game where it was just like fucking Klingons and shit. And it was horrible.
Yeah.
And I think it's actually just called Klingon.
Yeah. No, that's true. Just Star Trek Klingon. No, it's just called Klingon. You're right. Because I'm just saying, the Genesis game is amazing because you actually have to go down the planets. It's like an adventure game. Mm-hmm. And there's sometimes where it's like, we can't find this person. Yeah. What are you going to do? Get Geordi down there, and his visor will see through walls.
Perfect. I liked the Next Generation game on the NES because I just remember, like, the galaxy was huge. So it's just like, oh, you're supposed to go to this planet. But you could just, like, fuck around and go wherever you want.
Man, and they had... Well, on the Genesis one, this is what it's turning into. They had conversation trees. I don't know if they had that.
I think the Genesis and probably Super Nintendo one,
Yeah.
I'm guessing, are probably the same as the NES one, just better, like more stuff. Because I know that's how it was with what was it? There was another. I don't know. We're just
Are you talking about Star Trek 25th Anniversary Edition?
yeah, maybe that was it.
Because that was on the computer and NES, but the computer one actually had voice acting.
Yeah. That would be the one I was talking about.
Learn more.
Let's discuss our vague memories of science fiction video games.
I think this
There's
happened.
laser beams and space in it.
Steve, we can keep talking about the NES versus the Genesis, but we need to end this war of ours and talk about this war of mine. I actually could have used the Star Wars transfer, but we didn't start. I didn't know what to do.
Right.
It's now available on iPad and Android.
Cool.
Depressing.
Touch your despair.
Yes.
Tap it.
Speaking of death, PlayStation Mobile has officially closed. If you have anything that you already downloaded off of there, you'll be able to continue those downloads until September 10th when the service is officially closed. It's already gone, though, so if you didn't download any of those games, deuces.
Looks like you won't be playing Crash Bandicoot on your Sony Xperia phone.
Dang, gotta play it on my N-Gage/PSP Go/computer. But I will never get to play it on my Xperia unless I crack it. And even then, it won't feel real.
No.
It's still real to me, damn it! Alright, that's gonna do it for Pocket Talk. Let's get big, Steve. Let's take the mushroom.
Make your mushroom noise, Colin. No, that's still not good.
Is it humanly possible to make the Mario noise? I don't believe it.
One of the most, I'd say next to the one-up noise and the coin noise, it's probably the most recognizable noise in video games.
Okay, listeners, you can reach us verbally with the pressure line, 954-947-7377. Call in and attempt to do the mushroom sound from Super Mario Brothers 1. I want to hear it. It's got to be from Super Mario Brothers 1 because that's the one we all recognize.
This is going to be great, too, because when people leave a voicemail message on the pressure line, Google does like a transcript of what they said. So Google's just going to be like, da-boop, da-boop, da-boop.
No, it's probably going to be like taxi mouse car. You know, it'll be like something weird.
Something weird, yeah.
Oh, it's going to be dumb. It's going to be stupid. But it cannot be as stupid as the idiot of the week. This idiot of the week is someone that is actually rather intelligent. This idiot of the week is actually someone that is, I think, quite successful in a number of avenues. But this idiot of the week treats other people like idiots, and that's why he is the idiot of the week. Of course, we're speaking of Gearbox's Randy Pitchford. Randy Pitchford. When people were talking about Alien Colonial Marines, why were they so mad? Was it because the game was awful? Like absolute trash? And it had fucking E3 demos that had nothing to do with the real game? We're not talking vertical slices. We're not talking about prep work. We're talking about drastic differences that had no bearing in reality. Here's what Randy has to say about all you crybabies out there. If you're making entertainment on a grand scale, if you're reaching millions, there will be tens of thousands of people who absolutely hate us. And some percentage of those will take it upon themselves to let us know how they feel. I read it in this way. We've moved those people. We've touched them. Even the person who hates your game so much, you've affected them. That's why we fight. We're creating emotion and experience. And some people thrive on that feeling. Some people are sadists. There is always the person who's got to stand on the sandcastle. They must crush it. That's their way of relating to that. It's typically a less sophisticated mind. There's a dark part of us all that likes the idea of crushing a sandcastle, but most of us will respect it and let it be. That's why we like playing video games when we can blow stuff up and no one gets hurt.
Oh, get fucked, Randy.
I want to take a real quick break here by saying, you know, they talk about creating worlds. Oh, what do you mean, Borderlands? Because you sure as fuck don't make any of the other games you slap your damn name on. You sure as fuck didn't make Duke Nukem Forever. And you sure as fuck didn't make Aliens Colonial Marines.
Plus, that's so just up his own ass. Like, oh, well, there's some people that'll just hate you no matter what you do. And sometimes, you know, at least we're drawing emotion out of people. Like, he's acting like, I don't know, like he's Black Flag circa 1981. He's just antagonizing the audience. That's not what you're doing.
Yeah.
You made a really shitty game, and that's fine, because that happens sometimes. And you make
Yeah.
mistakes, so own it. But he doesn't own it.
No.
Everything he has said, go back and watch that E3 footage of him when they announced Alien Colonial Marines. Listen to what he's saying. Listen to what they're or look at what they're showing you.
Right.
And then go play the real thing.
Yeah.
It's garbage. It's barely playable. This is a modern FPS, which at the very worst should be generic and forgettable, and it is memorably bad.
To be fair, Gearbox is not very familiar with first-person games. So
not at all.
I mean, Band of Brothers or whatever the hell it's called, not first person. Borderlands, not first person. Oh, here's what I want to say. I mean, like he's speaking the truth and adding it to his lie. Like if I break into your house and just smash all your stuff, it'd be like, man, you know what? Life has ups and downs. That's true, motherfucker. But that is nothing. You
he's using truisms to like justify his bullshit, which is terrible and stupid and insulting. Frankly, it's incredibly insulting. And you know what? I will say this. Randy Pitchford is a fucking liar.
Whoa, okay.
And
I didn't say.
The only true thing that he has ever said about Alien Colonial Marines is when he said in the E3 interviews that the best version of the game was on the Wii U.
You got that right, because
it never came out, baby!
Also, it's worth noting that he lost over $10 million of his own money investing on Colonial Marines.
Good.
Well, I guess, sure.
No, doesn't get a Ferrari this year.
Yes, Randy Pitchford. Come on, man. You're better than this. That's why I'm not mad. I'm disappointed.
Ooh.
And that's why you are the idiot. Some people just like to stamp on sandcastles of the week. Boo. Seriously, what the fuck?
Sandcastles.
I know.
Now, some people just like to stamp their feet all over beloved franchises.
I wish he would have just said some bullshit like some people just like to see the world burn. Like he's just busting out Dark Knight quotes. Let me show you how I made this shitty game. Oh my goodness. We've talked so much about what's coming in the future. We've talked so much about what's going on today. But let us go back to the simpler times as we look into this week in history. 11 years ago, Paper Mario and the Thousand-Year Door was released in Japan on the GameCube.
Ooh.
Obviously, the best RPG on the GameCube. Nothing even comes close. And the best Paper Mario game, hands down. Did you ever play that one?
Yes, I have played it. It's very good.
It's a very good game.
I like all of them. Well, I mean, I don't like Sticker Star.
Yeah.
Sticker Star's bullshit. But all the rest of them are great.
Well, was it Paper Mario? Super Paper Mario was on the Wii, right?
Yeah, I like that a lot.
I did too.
They're just like, I think the GameCube one and the Nintendo 64 one and the Wii one are all like, they're like bite-sized RPGs. Like I think I beat all three of those in like a weekend.
Thousand-Year Door can take up some time though if you want to. I love the audience participation in the battle scenes. It's so good.
It's nice. Good game.
Also, on the exact same day, 11 years ago, ESPN NFL 2K15 launched at $20 and did such a smash hit success. This is not how you say sentences.
2K5, not 2K15.
2K5.
Future ball.
Yeah, 2K5 was such a hit that EA had to go and sew up the NFL license.
Mm-hmm.
Great game. Still have it. Still play it.
2K made damn good football games.
When you want to run fast, you have to tap on the A button hard. If you want to tackle somebody extra hard, you have to slow down by holding down the A button. It felt like a classic Sega game. This sucks. Also, 11 years ago, this is not a great game, but we all must remember, on the PlayStation 2, Catwoman.
Yay. Based off the great film starring Halle Berry.
Yeah, because she got to fight makeup.
Catwoman is a very bad video game, but there's actually a Batman game on the GameCube that's worse. It's called Batman Vengeance, I want to say.
I did not like Batman Vengeance either. It's based off of the Bruce Timm art style. I didn't like that.
That's not playable.
No, it's not good.
Which you don't really throw that term around unless you really mean it. And I really mean it. Batman Vengeance is not playable.
Remember when Batman used to have nothing but shit games? Now he just has disappointing ones.
Oh.
14 years ago this week, the PC took it to the max. With Max Payne. I love Max Payne. I love the first Max Payne so fucking much. 17 years ago, over in Japan, the Saturn received the gift unto the world that is known as Radiant Silvergun.
Ooh, good game.
Oh, you're telling me, buddy. 19 years ago, the PlayStation received the very first entry in the Deception series with Tecmo's Deception Invitation to Darkness.
Hey, you played the is it an add-on pack or an expanded edition of 4?
Yeah.
What is that?
It's bogus, whatever it is. I mean, Deception 4 is just too challenging of a game. It's a game where you set up traps and people walk in a room and they get hurt. And it sounds really fun. And I would recommend you check out Tecmo's Deception on the PS1. Yeah. That's really fun.
Actually, I like the second one in the Deception series. I think it's called like Tangiro or something.
That
Deception
was on
2.
PS1. Was that PS2?
Yeah, no, PS1.
Wow.
PS1.
Okay.
I think Deception 3 might have been on PS2. I don't know. But yeah, the second game in the Deception series, I think it's the best. It's basically like you can't physically attack people.
No.
So you set up these traps, and then when they step into them, it's almost like the board game Mousetrap. So you get to watch them go through the whole process. It's kind of fun.
And they carry that through in Deception 4, but it just doesn't hold together exactly. Oh shit! I gotta talk about Godzilla after this. Fuck.
Oh yeah.
Okay, all right, we gotta get through this.
Gotta go.
20 years ago, Kingsfield was released on PlayStation in Japan. That's From Software's baby. That's why we get cool things like that. 21 years, cool things like Dark Souls. Things like that. My brain was like
that, yeah.
My brain and me already know what we're talking about. 21 years ago, Sega CD shined with Shining Force CD. 25 years ago this week, the MSX received Metal Gear Solid 2 Solid Snake, a game that was created because of a conversation on a train. No joke. Hideo Kojima was on a train, and there was some guy from Konami that's like, hey, you're Hideo Kojima. And this is before he's famous. You made the first Metal Gear. Oh, my God. We're making the sequel on the NES, and it's called Snake's Revenge. And it's just no good. They won't listen to us. You should make a sequel. And he's like, oh, okay. True story. And lastly, 27 years ago, on the Famicom in Japan, one of the greatest soundtracks of all time, Bionic Commando.
Oh, yeah.
And that is your week in history. Okay, you know what? I was wondering why we're about 20 minutes shy from when we usually close. Real quick, I played Godzilla on the PlayStation 4.
But it's not a game of the week. It's just a game.
It's just it's free-floating entity.
The frustration of the week.
I'm not mad. A lot of people are angry, and they should be. I played it. The way that Godzilla controls... wait, let's step back. The game is Godzilla. Godzilla goes into the city. He fights a power generator, and then he gets bigger, which is not part of the canon of Godzilla, by the way. He doesn't get bigger during the middle of a movie. At least I don't think there's ever an example of that. Maybe when he got shrunk by the aliens, but I'm not sure. Because that was, whatever. Destroy all monsters. But either way... you destroy the generators, and usually another kaiju shows up, and it's like, oh shit, it's Mothra. All right, let's do this. And you fight with like one of 5 different moves because you've got your light attack, your heavy attack, your for Godzilla's example, he has his radioactive breath, and then he has his ultimate scream attack, and then he has a roar that intimidates, but it never actually works. The way you control Godzilla is with the analog stick. That allows him to walk forward and backwards, but not left or right, silly. You use L1 and R1 to slowly turn Godzilla.
Yeah, it sucks. I wish somebody would make a controller with 2 analog sticks so like you wouldn't have to do that,
Maybe one day. And the best part is, when you're fighting these monsters, you're just interrupting each other's animation. Like, there's no way to efficiently create combos. It's just bash, 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 bash. Everyone's just getting knocked back. And then it's over. And that's it. That's your $60. It looks like it came out on the Dreamcast. It is shameful. But there is one really cool thing about this game that is not getting attention, and I think it is an amazing idea, and I hope that they'd put it into another Godzilla game. You get points from destruction. You level up, you get more moves, you unlock more characters. But based off of your destruction, they'll show you what percent of the city is being destroyed, which is usually gated off after a certain point by like these invisible walls. Thank you for making that. There is the president, the prime minister of Japan. And when you start off the game, it's this lady, and she's like, "Oh my goodness, we really need to take care of this, or I'm in deep trouble." And after your first mission is such a smash success, she gets removed as prime minister, and someone else comes into power. And his philosophy is totally different. He goes, "Godzilla is a force of nature. We need to just allow him to do what he will. Let us not fight him." But the military doesn't agree.
Yeah.
And after you destroy enough buildings, he gets fired. So another prime minister comes
that's
in.
funny.
It's really great. You'll just see like these perfect paintings of these prime ministers, and you'll just see like another painting just smack it out of the way, and then it just flies through a screen and it just says prime minister, and it's written in gold and it shines. And they have totally different philosophies, and it's really funny reading their reactions to what's going on. And that's such a cool idea because you actually feel like you're not just destroying a city as Godzilla, you're fighting the power, you're getting people kicked out of office.
That's really funny.
It's a really cool mechanic.
Now, do you know who made the game? Do you
Bandai Namco.
Oh.
Sony tied it down as an exclusive because they own the rights to Godzilla. This was revealed at the Video Game Awards back in December with Jeff Keighley. There's your exclusive on PlayStation 3 and PlayStation 4, but don't worry, it looks like it was released in 2000. Like, it literally looks like this Gundam game I used to play on the Dreamcast. I'm not just exaggerating here. Which, funny enough, there was also a Godzilla game as a launch title on the Dreamcast that was also very bad. Not good at all. It was based off of Godzilla 1984.
Well, that's kind of the legacy of Godzilla in video games, like licensed Godzilla games. Not so good.
Now take that back, because Destroy All Monsters Melee on the GameCube.
I would say the GameCube one. That's the one people always.
It's fun. But you know why? Because it doesn't try and be like the Godzilla movies. Because Godzilla, is a little bit slow, but it's more fun when you literally are picking up a skyscraper and beating King Ghidorah over his 3 stupid heads.
I'm just saying, I guess Godzilla's legacy. I mean, that's like saying, Sonic games in the past decade haven't been utter dog shit, and then someone goes, but Sonic Generations.
Yes. I mean, honestly, Godzilla needs a really great video game, a great single-player game. You can play online with up to 2 other players.
Whoa.
And, let me
play
tell you,
this one on the net.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, it has some of the worst lag I've ever experienced in a video game. And you can check out the first hour if you really want to see more on this. But really, Godzilla fans, if you are a Godzilla fan, are you going to buy this already? Yeah, because let's face it, there's just not much Godzilla stuff as there used to be. But you're not going to like it. You'll get a laugh out of it, but you'll very quickly be disappointed because, I don't know. And you can play as Godzilla 2014, which he's fatter and yet more powerful, but even he kind of sucks. And man, I'm just saying, Godzilla's like, his fire breath it has like the shittiest range ever. Like, he literally would just like shoot a down kaiju and drag him across the floor with that. In this game, it's just like, oh, you missed. Ugh, I don't know. And Godzuki. Which, of course, Godzuki is not to be confused with Son of Godzilla. And by the way, no, I got one big fucking beef with this game. This actually pissed me off. The game starts off in black and white, and they recap the very first Godzilla movie.
Oh, that's cool.
And they say, we don't know much about Godzilla, but he was a force of nature, destroying much of the city. Okay, dickheads, the first Godzilla wasn't a dude. It was female. It laid the egg that hatched in the 60s. That it became the Godzilla from then on. The very first Godzilla is pure unadulterated evil. The second Godzilla is our friend. Godzilla 1984 doesn't count. That's a long story. But they literally keep referring to him, he, over and over and over again throughout the game about the original Godzilla. It's a woman. It laid the eggs. That's why there's more Godzilla.
Well, and even if they watch Godzilla in 1998 with Matthew Broderick and the Puff Daddy song, there's Godzilla eggs in that too. So
remember, kids, you can be heroes by not playing Godzilla on the PlayStation.
You can be heroes if Bob Dylan's your dad.
Yeah. Yes.
That's an insider Wallflowers joke.
Just go spend the $8 and play Blaster Master on the Wii U. That game is
that's a fucking good game.
Fucking
Do that
amazing.
Shit. Do that shit.
Holy, I used to remember thinking like, oh, the parts where you're not in the tank aren't that fun. They're even better when you're not in the tank.
Mm-hmm.
God, brilliant. Okay. Steve, where can people reach you on the internet?
You can find me on Twitter at Steve Cuff. That's at Steve CUFF.
See you, friendly face.
Boom. There's Collins. Good.
Yep.
Right on cue. Right on cue.
I'm still waiting on the real Steve Cuff to chime in and say you're not the real Steve Cuff
with his verified account. You can also go to optimismvaccine.com. We've got videos. We've got really good articles. We've got podcasts. We got everything. What else do we have? Oh, you can go to shepherdexpress.com and you can read our weekly column. You can go to iTunes and you can listen to the OpVac casts.
And Stitcher.
and Stitcher, and probably TuneIn Radio when I get around to taking care of it, and all over the place. I put the latest episode on YouTube, so you can go there. You can listen to it on YouTube if you want.
We'll talk off air. We got inside baseball stuff about how to get all this. All right, fantastic. What's coming up this week on Shepard? Do you have anything?
Shepard, yeah. I went to a pre-screening of that Trainwreck movie back on Monday or Tuesday.
I'm really excited to see
Which,
that.
by the way, it's I mean, I guess I won't spoil my review. It's not bad. It's not great. It's kind of middle of the road. But John Cena is awesome.
Yeah,
he's like perfect in the role, and it's cool too because Amy Schumer, who is the star of the movie, she dated Dolph Ziggler, the wrestler, in real life.
Right.
And like in interviews, she broke up with him because
Did you talk about the Fresh Air interview?
Yeah, where she's like, yeah, his body was like too perfect. I couldn't deal with it.
Yeah.
And then John Cena's character seems like John Cena is playing Dolph Ziggler as written by Amy Schumer.
Oh man.
It's really funny.
I gotta see it.
Yeah, like the Cena stuff is good.
It's not a great movie, but we'll see your review.
Yeah, you'll see my review.
Do you do a video?
Let's just say, I'll have a video up. There's just a little too much of the schmaltzy Judd Apatow shit in there, but
Yeah.
But hey, yeah, I'll have a review up probably on Monday, and then we'll have the new podcast episode that we're going to be recording very soon.
Okay.
Oh no, wait, we just recorded. I'm a fucking idiot.
Okay.
And that'll be up on Monday too. Very exciting.
Topical.
Very topical.
But enough about you, Steve.
I'm the most important.
What about me?
Okay.
What about Colin?
Good wrestling reference.
No one's gonna get that. WCW. Okay, here you go, guys. You can follow me on Twitter at Dr. Karate Chop. That's at Dr. Karate Chop. Or follow the PressureCast at PressureCastPod. Call the pressure line 954-947377. That's 954-94-PRESS. Also, pressurecast@gmail.com. Send in your inquiries, topics, messages, threats to that location.
Sexy fan fiction.
Impersonations of the mushroom. Please do that.
Via email.
Someone's just going to play a wave file of the fucking mushroom right into their phone. I already got you guys. Also, of course, you can go to youtube.com/videogamesaredumb. You can go to videogamesaredumb.com right now, but I wouldn't recommend it. And of course, you can go to shepardexpress.com and check out what are the very best fun sports games on consoles. Yes. Also, if you want to be depressed, you can read my article on Iwata last week, which, I don't know, it got views. It was long. It's like 2,000 words, and I had to write it in the course of like 5 hours. And edit it and put it out there, so it was a bit of a stressful day. Anyway, Steve, thank you so much for holding down the fort with me today.
Yeah, thanks again for having me, Colin.
As always.
As always.
As always. Thank you, everybody. Get out there and live your lives. Seriously, guys, you never know when you're going to go. You really might. I mean, if this week has taught us anything, so get out there. But don't stress. No matter what you do, no matter where you are, the PressureCast is forever. Forever. PressureCast, weekly video game news podcast, is solely owned and operated by Colin Tanner. Guests of the PressureCast are not employees or freelancers of Colin Tanner, the PressureCast, or VideoGamesAreDumb.com, and are not paid. Music featured on the PressureCast is property of their respective owners, and no infringement is intended. For more information, email pressurecast@gmail.com.